In this video, I want to show and explain to you the different join types you have in Power BI when you are merging tables. Because merging tables actually happens quite a lot. Let's just think about an example. I have a product table and I see all kinds of products and categories and subcategories, but there's also somewhere in our data source detailed table for that product, and it has some additional information, but maybe we only need like one column of that table. And instead of importing two tables and making a relationship to, for example, the fact table, we can also merge the detail table with our other table. And merging in Power BI is very easy because you just need two tables and then you go to transform data, and in the Power Query editor you can actually click on merge data and then there will be a pop-up, and Power BI basically asks you which two tables do you want to merge, and that sounds very easy. And at the bottom you see that Power BI also makes a calculation about how many rows will be merged. And that's the tricky part, because we can merge tables in different ways and it has an impact on the rows that you will actually see in your table, and you want to be very sure that you're using the right join to merge the tables. Standard Power BI puts this on a left join, and what that means is we get as a result one table where everything from our first table, for example product, is in, it's still there, all the rows and all the columns, and we can add information from the second table that matches. So in this example, we can see that the last row shows an empty value because that information was not available in the second table, but because we have everything from the first table and only what's matching from the second table, that column will be empty. So that's the left outer join, which means in this case 9 out of the 10 records will be joined. But if we click on the options in Power BI for the joins, we can see there are more options. We also have a right join, and that means everything from the second table, so in our example that would be the detail table, will be joined with the first table and everything that matches. And you can see in our result, before we had 10 rows when we did the left join, now we have 9 rows because the 10th row had no information in the first table, which means it's not joined and our result is 9 rows. So that's the right join. We also have an inner join, and an inner join is everything that's available in both tables. So as a result, we also have 9 rows here. If there's something in the first table, in the product table, that's not in the product detail table, it will not be in there. If there's something in the product detail table that's not in the product table, it will also not be in there. It really focuses on everything that's in both tables. So that's the inner join. And then of course there's also a full outer join, and full outer join actually means give me back everything. So merge these two tables together. If there's something in the second table that's not in the first table, a new row will be generated and that information will be added. This is a tricky one because if there's a lot going on in both of your tables and in both tables records aren't matching with the other table, this will mean you will get a lot of empty values in your data. And then in Power BI, you will see there's also a left anti and right anti. And that's a little bit the special ones there. What this actually means is left anti means you get only the information that's unique to the first table. And in our example, that actually means we only get one row back, because in the product table we had 10 rows, in the detail table we had 9 rows, and in the product table the 10th row was actually something we did not find in the detail table, which means because we do the left anti here, we only get that row back. This is the row that has no link to the second row. And if you wonder why would you use that, it could be if you see, for example, and now we have an example of 10 rows but a table with 10,000 rows, that 1 or 2 rows aren't matching, that you want to know which rows are that, and then something like this can be very helpful. And of course you also have right anti, where Power BI only looks at the second table and actually shows you everything that is only available in the second table. And in our example, that's nothing. So these are the different joins you can choose from in Power BI. And I know they can be a little bit confusing, especially if you get started. But instead of just selecting left outer join because Power BI selects that for you, I really would advise you to think about what do you want to achieve with merging the tables and what information do you really need. Because if you don't have a 100% match when merging, that most of the times means you will lose some information somewhere when merging these tables, depending on which join you're using. So I hope this helps. Let me know if you have any feedback.